but looking for them.
As actually Professor Sidney Morgenbesser said, when asked the question, why is there something rather than nothing, said, if there was nothing, you'd still be complaining.
Right, I'm going to wrap up several questions together now, otherwise people won't. There's somebody over there, there's somebody here, and there's someone up there. So can we hear those three questions, please? Yes.
I want to ask a question that I think many of us think about when we're parents. I want to ask Baroness Julia Neuberger about our children. What are they going to believe? My children, I have three, one's a doctor, but they don't go to church or to synagogue or to any religious ceremony. What will happen to them and their children? What will their children believe? Could you give me some indication, please, of what to predict what is going to happen to religion in the future?
Right,
thank you very much.
We'll hold over that question. Julia's made a note of it, I'm sure. Yes.
Madam Chairman, Christopher Hitchens seems to imply that unless one practices one's religion to 100% of its tenets, it's not worth practicing. Now, I regard myself as what I call a line-drawing Jew. I don't practice all 613 tenets of the law. I draw the line and practice those which I do. But in my book, religion is about three things. It's about a code of living, it's a framework by which we live, and it teaches self-restraint. Now, that's nothing to do with Judaism. It applies to all the main religions. And Professor Dawkins, would you not have that taught to the children at an early stage?
Fine, we'll take that question on board. And then there's a question up there, I believe. Yes? No, we can't hear you.
How about now?
Yes.
It's a question for Dr. Spivey. Do you think the slaughtered millions and hundreds killed every day in the name of faith are better off for the existence of the Sistine Chapel and some pretty paintings?
Right, the first question about what are we to tell the children, Julia Neuberger.
Well, I don't know what you tell the children, in that I think that you were really asking me to predict what they will believe. I can only say this, and it's something that worries me. I describe myself as about as liberal as you can get without falling off the edge, and I rather resent, I must say, Christopher Hitchens telling me what a religious person has to believe. I think I'm the rabbi and he's probably not. But nevertheless, let me come to the point about what I think will happen. And I think it's terribly worrying. I think a lot of our children will be people who hold no very clear belief. It'll be a rather woolly mush, I would say, if they have much in the way of belief at all. We've desensitized them, I think, very often to those things about religion that I believe matter. What I think is extremely worrying is seeing a rise of extreme religion, so that their children, your grandchildren, may well be the ones who are sent to faith schools, may well be the ones who are given a rather extreme and somewhat separatist and intolerant view, because I think we're going into a cycle where that is going to be more and more acceptable. And as somebody who believes that the moderates should band together, whether religious or not, I think we should be very, very worried about the move towards extreme religious belief and the desire to teach all our children in separate boxes rather than together. But I think the generation of our children have got a problem.
Christopher Hitchens, will you take the question about, Christopher, the question of...
I'm sorry?
The question about the line-drawing Jew, the practice of religion being about the tone of living, a framework, and about self-restraint.
Well, that's dead easy, just like the rabbi just now. His religion is man-made too. He decides what he'd like to believe. It's a la carte. He says, shouldn't my children be taught, self-restraint, responsibility, care for others, and so on? I don't believe in the rest of it, don't believe in the prophets, don't believe in the mountaintop, don't believe in the revelation. Well, nor should you. But how dare you suggest to us that we couldn't teach our children self-restraint and respect for others and the golden rule. How dare you!
Dr. Spivey, I think the question put to you about whether the slaughtered millions were worth the Sistine Chapel was something of a rhetorical question, but would you have a comment to make on it?
Yes, it was slaughtered millions every day in the name of faith, and that's quite a rhetorical exaggeration of the thing. And it's also twisting what I was saying about the nexus of art and religion. I would argue that the Sistine Chapel is one of those things that shows humanity at its best, and a religious conflict, one of the things that shows us at our worst. I don't buy this idea that if we were all suddenly to cease being religious, which, as I've tried to argue, is, I think, physically and psychologically impossible, that there would be a complete absence of ethnic or any other kind of conflict. And that strikes me as incredibly naive.
Thank you. Can I...